A word for our listeners. Achtung Cthulhu is set in the 1930s and 40s. We will be using terms and sayings from those times, including some that could be considered offensive. It is not our intention to offend. We merely wish to offer as accurate a view of the time period as possible. Welcome to Masks of Nyarlathotep, a Nerd's Domain gaming podcast. Join us each week as our investigators uncover the corruption of the mythos in World War II. Starring George Chimples, Phil Durham, Rob Walker, Jestin Kimmet, Shirley Niedzwiecki, and Scott Troiano, with Matt Quiett running the table as the keeper. Eldritch evils and crazed Nazi cultists await you just beyond this music.
Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Nurse Domain Presents Masks of Nyarlathotep. I'm Matt, and I'm here with Shirley.
Hello.
Rob.
Having a good time.
George.
Yeah, man.
Phil.
Howdy doody.
Durham.
Durham.
It's like Gotham.
Sandwich.
Gotham is a show that I've never watched.
I
And
watched
don't
the first season
understand.
of Gotham. It was pretty good.
Do they ever
Do they
get
have
it?
rum ham?
No, they did not get the ham.
What's the point?
They're trying really hard.
Is it
to
going to be
get
like Battlestar Galactica where they never fight the star until the end?
All right, so where were we at?
Literal interpretations of movie
We're
titles.
still in Burn.
Yeah, I know you're in Burn. Where are you guys headed?
They had just.
We were
going
gonna
to
go-
Blake was
have
going to
dinner.
smother Thomas with a pillow.
Oh, that's right. You guys were going to go some other.
That's like 5
No,
episodes
Blake
from now.
was.
Just Blake. You guys were going off to the International House.
Of
Of
pancakes.
pancakes.
Yeah, because Evie,
Avina.
Vaporeon.
Evita over here hasn't had
Don't
a
cry for me, our
Evelyn
dinner.
October.
Miss October.
That's Eva McCree. Stop looking up there. That's not the right one.
Waffles?
For the people at home who aren't
Is
seeing this,
her
there's
name-
notes on the wall.
is
and
her
George
name
keeps
Waffles?
referring
The
to
notes are extremely out of date and have almost no useful information on them whatsoever.
That's not true.
Do you guys
There
leave
is-
this up after we leave, by the way?
Yeah, it has not come down since.
I believe it.
There's Waffles the Disobedient Penguin.
Yeah.
He's part of the NRA.
Yeah.
He's actually been in the background of all of these scenes. You just can't see him.
He is brilliant.
I order several sausages and several rounds of beers for me and my friends.
See.
All right. So you have several rounds of sausages and beers.
Let's press the flesh, as the English people say.
That's disgusting. Okay. So you're just talking to people? You guys are here for information, right?
Yes.
What information are you here for?
Hey, you seen this guy, Paul Fleischmann? He's one of your German countrymen who might have gotten into a scrape or two. Have a sausage on me. That's the stuff I would say.
I see.
I would offer them a sausage in return for their information. Yeah.
Can I get you to roll luck? It's been a very lucky night.
Yeah, I feel.
Okay. You spend an hour or so eating dinner and drinking. No one seems to know much about it. Mr. Fleischmann. He seems to be pretty much unknown here.
What is the phase of the moon?
Excellent question, George.
This is relevant.
It's a gibbous moon.
Oh, okay.
It's a gibbon moon.
A gibbon
A
moon.
gibbon moon.
I had that at the zoo.
Yeah, I did too. Yeah, it's fair. It's fair.
Which are the... Well, never mind.
Not the Australian zoo, though. That's illegal now.
We're moving on. Don't encourage him.
I was going to say
No,
that
Blake
I
has other stuff he can do here.
Yeah, I know.
I was going to say that I will also mingle and ask after Germans who may have been recently in the hospital, Germans named Paul Fleischmann.
Okay. Can you also roll luck? Evelyn, you are also there. Are you mingling as well?
No.
Or do you nose in book?
Nose in book.
I'll order her dinner.
Okay.
Is it sausage?
Yeah, it is, absolutely. Do you eat it?
Yeah.
Good, because we shall have dinner.
It's the worst.
It is worse and it is delicious.
In a rare case for me, I passed my luck check.
Yeah.
He does well. He got out of 16.
You speak with a few people. One of the Germans seems to stiffen when you're asking about and being friendly. And when you pursue him about it, he says that he knew Paul Fleischmann. He fled back to Germany 3 or 4 days ago.
Do you know where in Germany he was going?
No. He said he needed to get home, so...
Do you know why he came here?
Originally to flee the Nazis, but he seems to have changed his mind since then.
Do you know what changed his mind?
Well, the war, probably.
The war has encouraged him to return?
There's a sense of duty there.
Do you know when he left?
3 or 4 days ago.
Thank you. I'll go over to Carlos. And that man over there says that Paul has fled back to Germany 3 or 4 days ago. That's clearly after when the attack would have taken place, yes?
No, because he's been in the hospital recuperating. If it happened, it probably... He fled right afterwards. Right after the attack.
It's still conceivable.
Yeah.
Paul attacked him and then fled.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, that man over there says that Paul has he believes Paul has fled back to Germany and left 3 or 4 days ago.
Also, for the record, I don't know the phases of the moon other than what full and new are. So whatever phase of the moon that is leading up to full moon, but is not yet full moon.
Waxing.
So what's the gibbous moon?
That's the one that's...
I thought that was waning.
What?
Waning? Waxing?
Waning
and
is
waning?
getting...
No.
Waxing is bigger. Waning
Waxing.
is smaller.
Gibbous can be either, but it's the sliver. So you gibbous waning, gibbous waxing.
Okay, so it's waxing then.
Sliver.
Oh.
Hey.
Our research assistant here has
It's the grip.
provided crescent, gibbous, waxing, and waning. Oh, I see. This is interesting. Thank you.
You know, if you'd listen to me more often.
There's a difference between hearing and seeing, and that was like pictures.
Don't you ever read your tarot cards? Come on now.
Nope, I don't
You
have
have to
tarot
simplify.
cards.
You have to make it simpler with pictures from it.
True
Oh,
story.
that's right.
True story. True story. True story.
Moving on.
I'm waiting on you guys.
We could try and break into the hospital records and see if there's an address for this individual or chalk it up as a dead end.
The likelihood of an address is low to begin with.
Thanks.
Just giving you, like, that's a heads up. I don't want to spend 35 minutes of us pulling off a hospital heist just for me to go, meh.
You're talking about a local one. Yeah. I think that perhaps if you have other establishments, we can check those out and see if anyone else can corroborate what this gentleman has said. But I don't think that anything more at the hospital is likely to come to fruition.
I don't know if any further pursuit of this would be fruitful. We could go and ask William if he has any reason not to be forthcoming, or if maybe he was confused, or I don't think he would deceive us on purpose, but I could be wrong.
No, I think that probably he's been through quite a bit, and Ms. October, I think that you'd probably be reasonably close. We'd probably be walking towards her, so you're probably going to catch most of this. I think that probably just the trials that he's been through, and perhaps morphine and those types of things maybe has confused him on some things. So I think that, yes, we should go and talk to him and clear the air, so to speak, and then once he is healed, we'll need to decide what makes the most sense for our next course of action.
Yeah. I have a route plotted at Innsbrook should we decide to go that way.
Should we decide to do that, but let's certainly at least talk to William and see what he has to say.
Yes.
As you guys are setting to leave, a gentleman kind of approaches Carlos, waiting until a moment that Carlos is not by himself but away from the group a little bit. And he walks up in Spanish, in a clear Spanish from Spain, says, "If I could speak with you a moment, I would appreciate it."
Hola.
Como estas? I'm out. That's all I've got.
Bienito. ¿Y usted?
Come see, comes off. Okay, now I'm out.
Bueno.
Literally all I know. Okay, so he kind of, he doesn't grab your arm, but he kind of puts his hand in front of you to kind of stop you and says, "Can I speak to you for a minute?"
Sure.
He kind of sits down and he says, "I heard of a man who was burned like you. Was a great fighter pilot."
What did you hear of him?
That he was shot down and survived and left our country knowing that he had failed to stop the fascists.
We all failed to stop the fascists. That is why they are in charge and the rest of us are not.
I would hope that that man would take information about the German pilots that were there.
If we are speaking of the same man, and if I know him as I think I might, he would be interested in such information, would put it to good use.
I've heard that that pilot group has been moved to a city in Austria named Innsbrook, and that they are all there. So if that man were to want to take his revenge, it would be available in one spot.
How did you come by this information?
I have friends.
Are they in Innsbruck?
No. I had a family. They were in the town that the Nazis bombed. And so I keep an eye on where that fighting, or that group goes.
Someday perhaps they will fight no longer.
Perhaps.
In solidarity.
Is that something that they said?
Like a communist greeting.
Okay. He nods and kind of walks away.
Rejoin with the others.
Would you like to roll Spanish for me?
Me?
Yes.
Pass.
The accent of Spanish was near where you're from, but
Yeah.
probably not the same town. Something near you where you grew up that was probably bombed. It sounds along those lines.
Yeah.
I can't say that I'm super familiar with the area, so.
Northern Spain. That's where Carlos is from. So, yeah, I'll rejoin with the others.
So,
yeah.
this took place.
You guys were you three were leaving the bar.
I was going to the bathroom before we
Yeah.
left.
You probably saw it happen, but he spoke quietly and in Spanish. So if you have Spanish, that's great. You can roll it. But if not, it was quietly enough that you probably didn't pick up much of anything.
I just didn't know if I observed it or not. And I think in this situation, I wouldn't be keeping a constant eye. I would be roughly keeping an eye on everybody, just make sure that.
Well, and it would have been very, very obvious that Carlos stopped.
Yeah. Okay.
If I cut anyone's eye, I would motion for them to stay back until I was.
No, I would not have approached unless you seemed
Yeah.
in distress.
Yeah.
But it's going to
So-
paint how
Yeah.
this next would goes.
When I rejoin you, I'll say that was either someone wants us there very badly to plant so many seeds as to be ridiculously insane, or I've received a bit of luck and serendipity, and perhaps there is a God that is benevolent. That was a fellow countryman of mine from similar straits as mine who says that there are fighter pilots of a certain lupine persuasion in Innsbruck.
That's definitely important news that we have now not just one, but at least seemingly two sources that are pointing us in that direction.
Yes. And like I said, I don't think that this man was lying to me. If he was a plant that was so similar to me in accent and in story that I feel if they could go to these lengths to bring us to Innsbrook, they would also be able to dispose of us elsewhere with far less effort.
I propose we sleep on it and have a lengthy discussion with William tomorrow.
Yes, perhaps we should have some breakfast sausages.
I think maybe I'll have some blueberries with my sausage.
Would be the time of year for it.
It would not be the time of year for it, but sure.
This is the Alps. We can find it anywhere. Blueberries grow in the mountains, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. It's it's a role-playing game, so if the gamekeeper wants it, we can have blueberries whenever. It's your world.
Sure, why not?
Yeah, cool.
But no cheese. All cheese is gone. Sorry.
Ridiculous. This is Europe. Europe, there's cheese just falling out of the streets.
I mean, you've got...
ridiculous.
This is Switzerland, so they have chocolate falling out of the streets.
They just have milk chocolate there. It's gross.
No, they have dark chocolate.
Switzerland, Swiss cheese.
Swiss cheese.
Which, ironically, is from France. What?
Which is right next door.
Yeah, but French fries are from America. So, I don't know.
And only Americans call pineapples pineapples. Yes, we got it.
Wait, really?
Yeah, everywhere else they're called something else.
Like, what?
Also,
Well,
peppers?
in different languages, or in Australia they call them.
It's like spiked fruit everywhere else, and here we call it pineapple,
It's cool.
which makes no sense. Yeah, Rob's gonna look it up. He's got this.
Because we're awesome
So you guys are headed back to the hotel.
Yeah.
Okay.
as a group.
The three of you get back there. The night goes by. You're going over to visit William in the hospital.
They're pineapple in Japanese. I was confirming.
No, they're
I
not.
swear to you, they are.
Because of that.
Anyway, go ahead. What are you guys doing in the morning?
So,
Pineapple pen.
so
Pineapple. It's
on the walk
katakana.
over,
I've got a pen. I have an apple.
What is that?
Have you not seen that?
I've seen it, but I don't know
I have
what
no
it
idea.
is.
We would have to ask our current Asian expert at the table, Rob.
I don't understand it. I really don't. My kids are fascinated by it.
I'm a little fascinated by it, honestly.
I didn't know what was going on until my ex-wife sent me the message, and she was talking about it the other day, and I'm like, what in the world are you talking about? So I went and looked. I don't get it. I don't follow, but my kids
but he
are
has a pen.
fascinated by it.
He has an apple. Apple pen.
I don't even know what any of this is.
That's
That's
Are
how
you
far out of the
serious?
loop I am. Yeah.
Do you know who Kenneth Bone is?
No.
I don't know who Kenneth Bone is.
Carlos, I would like to begin our conversation with William regarding the situation with Paul, and then perhaps move to the information you learned from your countrymen.
Fair.
So you guys are going to go talk to Thomas?
Carlos, do you want to take the lead, or shall I, or Ms. October?
You found the information. I would rather one of you.
You go ahead and do it.
Very well.
So you're at the hospital.
Okay, I'll go to William's room.
He's there.
I've brought him a plate of morning sausages.
Woo!
Sausage.
I have some blueberries for him.
Is it sausage?
He's a werewolf.
No, it's not sauce. Okay, we're gonna
Go into combat.
So he's going to die.
So he's not a
now?
werewolf. Go ahead.
I kicked
you a
Brian in
werewolf?
there, and I shut the door. I go, get his werewolf powers, so we may werewolf the German people with our power. God bless.
You don't believe in God. That's not very helpful.
But you do, so I thought that would be nice for you. Like I'm cheering on your side or something, like giving you support. I get an airplane to fly back to England. The end.
So
Thank you for enjoying this season of Master of the Hotel.
he is in his room in his bed eating breakfast. He has been given the sausages already.
Okay, well, these ones are better because we brought them from the special sausage place down the street.
Okay.
Morning, William.
Morning.
Good
Here,
morning.
have some.
Sausages.
No verdiserum. All right.
Blake didn't poison them, I promise.
Why would you put that in his head?
What?
So why would you even put that in his head?
You assume it wasn't there already.
It's one of those jokes.
Anyways, go ahead.
How are you?
Feeling better.
Good. So as we mentioned when we were last year, we were going to look into Paul. We found out his last name was Fleischman.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. The interesting thing that we discovered was that the hospital staff said that at no point has any other patient been put into your room with you, which conflicts with what you told us.
That doesn't make sense because he was here.
They also mentioned that, I'm sure quite reasonably so, you have been at times administered morphine.
I would assume so. Yeah, I mean it's been like you saw me before we got done, right? So
Right. I was there when we were, getting you out of Germany and here, and so certainly morphine can have a lot of effects, and so there's a question of perhaps what might be clouded by those effects.
I mean, I feel pretty confident, but a lot has happened. So I don't discredit, as a scientist, I cannot discredit the idea that there might be clouding. Now, if you're worried about now, there's nothing in my system now. I'm on simple straight pain meds. So,
and I've seen and heard nothing that you've been very lucid and clear, and the other times that I've been visiting you throughout the week, and you've seemed that way. So, I certainly think so. But I wanted it to be clear between our party to strengthen our party that existed, and for it not to be something which was kept from you.
okay. No, that's fair. I understand. And I understand the concern, especially you guys trying to track this guy down, because we got to stop him.
Yeah. In our research, not in our research, in our investigation, last evening we did run into one gentleman familiar with the man, and said that he has already fled about 3 or 4 days ago back to Germany.
Doesn't surprise me.
Doesn't surprise me either, based on what he you told us about your encounter in the.
Well, and the Swiss are really finicky. I mean, they would have sent him back either way, so they weren't gonna. They didn't seem okay with with us coming across the border. I assume they probably didn't take that very well for a German coming across at the wartime.
Yeah. So I think that we've hit a dead end, at least for now, along that regards, and whether we'll follow that up at a later date remains to be seen. But at least the people here in Bern are probably safe from Paul.
Have you gotten any other information on Innsbruck?
And this is where Brian will look to Carlos.
I was approached by a countryman of mine who has had experiences similar to mine with the members of the Nachtwolf. He said essentially that he has heard rumors that they have been repositioned, rebased to Innsbruck. If he was a plant, he was a very convincing one.
I don't know who would be planting him. I mean, aside from the obvious, right?
Right.
And they would have to know us very well. And as far as I know, unless they've got agents on the inside of MI, which is possible, not likely that deep in the kind of departments we're in, right? Because we're fairly secretive. We're fairly quiet. I wouldn't expect an agent, a double agent, to be in there. So it sounds like the information is probably fairly accurate then.
I have to say that I believe that to some degree we are known to our enemy from the meeting, the Thule Society meeting that we all attended. And so
potentially
not everyone died there. No, whether
right.
that got it reported up and those types of things, but it's that possibility exists.
Yeah, but that's a lot of effort to follow us to where we are now. To, you know what I'm saying? I mean, that would be either.
I'm not saying it's the most likeliest of conclusions, but I'm going to raise it to be something to be acknowledged.
Well, then I say, if we proceeded to Innsbrook, which I think we should, then diligence on the road, diligence on our travels. So if you have a plotted path, we might want to find an alternate route. If we've talked about it in the open, if we've talked about it at any point, I don't know if you guys have. All I know is I got a book.
I've plotted my own path, but I've not discussed it with anyone or really marked it down.
Then I don't
anywhere.
think you should. I think we should put faith in you that you can get us there. That way, there's no potential if there is someone following. I mean, we'd know it pretty quick, especially if you've chosen
the roads we'd be going. We
rather
would
discreet.
Notice if anyone else was on them.
Right.
I agree that we should go. If it is a trap, the bait is very sweet. If it's a trap, they will be able to trap us elsewhere anyways. Better to go someplace where we can do some damage.
I certainly had a lot of questions and doubts when it was a singular piece of information from a source which was under a lot of different strains.
Fair.
This second piece would certainly say that there is very much a very high possibility that something of interest is in Innsbruck, whether that will be our undoing or an opportunity for us to do better in the world. I know not, but I believe that is the direction we should likely head.
How convincing was this guy, Carlos? I mean, did he crack? Did he stutter? Did it? I mean, you've seen plenty of films, and
he had an accent that sounded like mine. He had stories that were from the region like mine. So if he was a plant, they were trying to pick someone very close to me, which means that they would know a lot about me that I don't think they would have the ability to know. He knew something about me, but that is not impossible.
Are there a lot of Nazi supporters in Spain?
Well, Spain is run by the fascists now, but there's a lot of people like me who no longer live there.
Mm.
He said his family had been killed as mine was. It is not as rare or unique a story as you might hope.
Mm.
I certainly believe him.
Miss October?
Being that I've been studying the books and I've left the investigation up to Carlos and Brian, I would tend to lean toward their observations and advice.
So you are prepared to walk into what we have discussed on more than one occasion is going to be a situation of utmost danger.
I've walked into it before.
Brian just nods.
So it sounds like we've resigned ourselves. Brian?
How much more time do you believe that you'll need?
A couple more days.
Then I believe that Carlos and we can probably work on putting together any type of transportation we might need, gathering supplies. You obviously need to continue to rest.
I would try and finish translating this.
Then
Well, you purchased it, right?
Yeah, you did.
Yes.
Yeah, so we can take it with us. So it's not a getting prepared
Well,
would probably
unless
be.
you need me to do something else.
I think
The book is on what topic again, please?
It is on
Atlantis.
treaties of Atlantis, treaties of ancient cultures and
yeah,
civilizations.
treaties of ancient cultures and civilizations.
I mean, you can leave that with me. I've got nothing else to do.
I think that your academic acumen can still be put to use, but perhaps anything that we don't already know about Innsbrook, anything that we don't already know about. I know that you've already kind of looked into werewolves. Anything
Architecture, any kind of. I mean, we've seen them now in old homes and old castles. That's probably. I mean, that's what we've seen at least before. It's going to be the best stronghold in the area.
Also, any local legends that might be something that have some truth to them, perhaps. Maybe there's a reason there in Innsbruck beyond its defensibility.
So, I certainly would like you to continue to pursue academic things, but perhaps more focused to what our immediate needs are, if you don't mind.
That sounds like a good plan. I'll go ahead and start that.
All right, so Carlos and Brian are going to look into a vehicle.
Well,
Yeah.
I wanted to
And
discuss that
supplies, I
with
assume.
Carlos. Do you think that a single vehicle, do you think that we might do, are the equivalent of dirt bikes in existence right now?
They have
No.
motorcycles.
They would have motorcycles, but not dirt bikes.
Bum leg.
But they do have some that are like overland, like they use them for scouting and stuff. But I don't know.
I would need a sidecar probably.
Even after you're fully healed?
No, it's not. I mean, there's never like a full heal,
Yeah.
right? So, I mean, especially that close to an incident, and I just had my insides tore out. Probably riding on a bike would not be, even after a month of rest, probably wouldn't be recommended.
It's definitely going to tire him out, if nothing else.
Do you think that one vehicle for all of us is the best approach, or multiple motorcycles, or...
I think a simple stripped down vehicle, maybe modified in certain ways, might be the best approach. We can find access to a garage.
Okay. I think that we need to look for any more silver. We need to pack, water, rations, inclement weather, gear.
Someone
routes-
should report back to MI.
The modern route from Bern to Innsbruck is like 4 hours or something like that. It's not far at all.
Yeah, you're also looking at good roads.
No. So I'm like saying like it would be like a couple days maybe.
You're looking at going on a slightly circuitous route, and staying off of main roads. You're probably looking at 3 days, and
Okay.
that's assuming you're going easy and being careful.
Yeah, but just for the provisioning, we don't need to be like super crazy.
No.
Well, how long, I don't know how long we're going to scout out
Yeah,
before we go in.
That's
and so
fair.
on. Yeah.
Well, and also keep in mind, Innsbruck is a city at this point in time, so you're looking at, even if you went into Innsbruck, it's not like, well, there may be Nazis on every street, but it's not going to be just a Nazi stronghold. You should be able to blend into Innsbruck seemingly well.
in terms of what kind of weapons were we able to bring to Switzerland with us? Anything larger than pistols or?
I would assume the same thing that you brought last time when you came into Germany. So a sidearm and a rifle, if you have one, and then the same ammo, 100 rounds of pistol ammo and 50 rounds of whatever rifle or machine gun in your case.
Yeah, it's like a light machine gun thing. But cool. So we've got that. Yeah. So my thing would be getting a vehicle that's fairly rugged that can be repaired in the field, and maybe doing some modifications to put some light unobtrusive armor on it, put some cladding on it, the headlights so they can be dimmed, juice up the suspension.
I think I'll leave you to the vehicle, and I can work on the rest of it.
Okay. Would we have enough money to procure something like that, and then
Yeah.
find a space where I could work on it in a
New
garage?
tires too, probably.
Yeah.
Brand new tires, like
Yeah,
you
and
want
a couple
something that works.
spares.
Yeah.
Patching stuff.
Definitely, yeah.
Basically, I'm going to go around asking for something that's saying, we want to enjoy the beauty of your fine Alps, looking for a vehicle used, something that would be common.
Yeah. You can pick up all those things. You'll probably have to go to a couple of different places, and it's going to take at least 2 days to modify it the way you want to.
Yeah.
Even after you find a garage. So you have more than enough money to bribe somebody to leave their garage alone with you for a couple of days and let you use their tools. You have repair.
I have jury rig.
Mechanical
repair as well.
Roll your mechanical repair. Just once.
Yeah. Pass.
Okay.
But, pretty good on it.
It takes a couple of days, but you get everything you're looking for. So a little bit of armor. So I just want to make sure. A little bit of armor, the ability to go from regular beams to lower beams.
Well, you've seen like on the World War II vehicles how they would have the headlights, but they would have just like a little slit. And just so like they wouldn't have like lights for like bombers and stuff. They'd be less visible from the air basically from far away, like blackout lights or something. I forget what they call it, but that they probably have just for not for sale necessarily, but these would be on most vehicles on the continent at this point.
Okay. And then new tires. You're looking to beef up the suspension.
Yeah.
Is that about it?
Yeah, basically make kind of like, just make it more off-roady and then maybe able to withstand a couple shots, punishment.
Okay. I mean, obviously the glass isn't going to be anything
No,
for that, but around
like on the doors and stuff, putting in some extra steel. And again, nothing too heavy to make it like,
sluggish.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, enough that unless it's a big round, like those big guns, those you're screwed no matter what.
Yeah.
But if it's hand fire or handgun fire or maybe even rifle fire, that isn't dead on, it's probably not going to slow you down. That's going to take you a couple of days. Brian, you're going to spend a couple of days getting provisions.
Yes, and
water, extra gas,
rations,
silver,
weather gear, and silver.
Are you going to have someone turn silver into bullets or some sort of cutting?
At this point, I think I'm gonna, given the time constraints and not probably wanting to draw any more attention, more cutting or impaling.
Okay. You find you find a couple of nice letter openers that you have sharpened and can be extended a little because they're not very long. Yeah. That can be extended out by putting a decent, like a good wrap around the handle, so it gives you a full hand grip, and then essentially it's a silver shiv at this point, but it'll be enough that if you need silver, something to stab with, that will work, and it'll also slash, so if you needed to use it that way, it will. Without doing any kind of metal working, that's about the best you can figure.
How much time does it take me to do all of those other things?
Probably a day or two, maybe.
Okay.
And you've got another day before Carlos is going to be ready. You've got another... Thomas is probably ready.
Okay.
At this point.
So I'll go to Carlos. You have about another day on the car?
Yes.
I think I have most everything. I've got some sources on some silver, but I don't know that without getting someone to craft it, that it can be very weaponized. I don't know if that is any attention that we want to get, since I think going and asking someone to turn this into a knife or to turn this into a bullet might ask or raise too many questions.
Would this be like a crafting skill or something? Like would jury rig or mechanical repair be able to do anything?
I'd let you jury rig, definitely.
Okay.
You could. It's going to add more time for you to do it, though. I mean, that's the thing.
I'm not in a terrible rush as long as he's laid up in the hospital.
Well, and he's ready at this time. While you still have a day left, he's ready to go. So if you want to wait a little longer, that's fine.
Okay.
But if you're...
How does Brian feel about waiting a day to try and work on some of this?
I'd rather be ready and prepared. I don't think Innsbrook is going anywhere.
Yeah.
Okay. So you procure the equipment to make what? What are you looking to make?
I would be looking to make just a couple bullets.
Okay.
Would Brian have any requests? I don't think any of us are good with knives particularly. Not that I know of, at least.
I am, but I've got a couple shivs now. So, How many are you going to let me say I left? How many silver bullets are you going to let me say that I left?
Probably a full. I'd say a load, a full load for whatever pistol you have.
Okay. I would say maybe one more load. I don't know if it's a clip or a magazine. I'm not a weapons person.
How many bullets are in it?
8.
Okay, so it's probably a magazine.
I think that maybe another magazine's worth for me would be useful, and maybe 1 or 2 magazines for everyone else.
Yeah.
If you're going to do that many, it's going to take a little bit longer. Just because you're going to have to make a press. You don't have one, and getting one is going to be...
About 12 bullets.
You could do that in about half a day. You could probably do a full 24 in a day, and that's assuming the jury rigging and everything for that.
I'll do that.
Okay.
So we can load a clip with like the first couple will be silver or something.
Okay. And then spread those out in caliber across the group.
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
I'm using 9mm. I don't know what anyone else is using, but
Rob is using a gun.
yeah, right.
It's probably 9mm.
Just give me some bullets.
His is probably also 9mm. Shirley, what do you have?
I have a shotgun, a pistol, and a
What kind of
32
pistol do you have?
revolver. Or Ruder. Sorry.
What kind of pistol do you have?
It does not say.
Let me see it.
She also has a gun.
So
He's got basically the same thing I have, I think.
Yeah, I think you gave me the stats on my
Yeah,
gun.
so does she.
okay. So
I have I don't remember what size it is because it's a weird gun. It's the Webley Foster automatic revolver, so it doesn't take.
Oh, yours is gonna be goofy caliber.
No, because I think it actually does use a regular caliber, even though it's the.
No, I think it's like a 45 or something.
it takes Webley I'm not like no joke.
No, I think
Oh,
that
yeah.
that one specifically is not
yeah?
Webley,
Okay.
even though it is a Webley gun.
But you can split that up across the group. So 24, so 6 each.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's fine.
But if I've already got 8, then maybe I don't need another 6. I don't know. What do you guys want to do?
If you have 8s,
If he has 8 and you split it between the rest of
Then
you
it'd be
evenly,
like
that's
8.
another 8 for each of you. So it's a full clip for him and then whatever. For
yeah,
each of
our
you.
clips are like 13, but
So most
like,
of the clip.
But most of it, yes, that's fine. That should
Okay.
be more than enough.
Okay. Roll jury rig for me.
Pass.
Okay. Don't forget to mark those.
Yeah, well, these are still marked.
Okay.
Pass them already.
So yeah, you guys are good. Shirley, you are translating the book and trying to read the Latin one, correct?
No, I'm actually researching Innsbrook.
Oh, Innsbrook. Okay. So
Innsbruck.
Innsbrook is an Austrian town. There's a castle there. It seems like from the information you're getting at the library. Can you roll library use for me so I can justify giving you information?
Missed it by 10.
Okay. So it actually is going to take you the full 3 days to get this information. Innsbruck is an Austrian town. There's a castle there. That looks like the most defensible spot. Makes most sense for the military presence to take place there. Nothing really significant other than there are some mines near there that may tie into what's going on, but nothing that indicates that at all. Just some guesswork. Probably the reason it's important is that it's in the mountains, close enough to fly into France, also close enough that they could hit Spain from there as well without too much issue, at least the very northern part of Spain. And there's always Italy there as well. So it's kind of the big town in that area that allows them to support the staff they would need. It's also far enough behind behind their lines that it shouldn't be attacked by a large group. So that means that they can minimize security while maintaining an airfield there.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Right. Is there any mythology or strange tales that have come?
Not really. I mean, there's some basic stuff, but nothing that sounds recent or really that matches much of anything you're looking at.
Weapons? Any anything weird in that area?
Not really. No. It's kind of just it's literally just an Alp city, a city in the Alps. It's not. There's nothing huge or important there other than there was a castle, or there is a castle because it used to be part of the Holy Roman Empire. So. Okay. So you guys spend those couple of days. William, could you roll 2d3?
Okay.
What'd you get?
A 5 and a 1.
So
A 2 and a 1.
A 3 and a 1.
3 and a 1.
So you heal 4.
Yeah.
Okay. Also, could you roll? Which book are you looking over?
The Latin one.
Could you roll your Latin for me?
Oh no, I missed it.
Okay. You have some trouble. You don't know if it's the pain or just you're feeling stir crazy or what, but you get a little bit translated. You do, but it's not much. You spend more time trying to figure out where in the book you should be looking for this information. Not really much you get out of that.
Okay.
If you had some more time, another week or two, you'd probably be able to do it without much of an issue. But with the way it's going right now, not much you can really do.
Right.
So. All right. So you guys are all prepped and ready. It only took an extra day. What do you guys want to do?
Let's roll out.
Start playing Regulators by the great Warren G.
That's what I was actually, in fact, thinking.
Okay, so you roll out.
Mount up. It was a clear black night. It was a clear black night.
No, thank you.
I took the suit. Back up.
I will pass. So you guys head out of Bern towards the border. What are you guys doing to get past the border?
I'm gonna make vroom vroom sounds while I push the pedals and do stuff to the wheel.
Okay, so there's a guard at the border.
Vroom vroom.
Just one?
No, there are several guards at the border.
Shoot him in the head.
So do you think we
Wait,
should...
are they Swiss or German?
Both. The Swiss on the
Stop.
Swiss side and the German on the German side.
Kill this man, I say. I used dominate.
It
Oh
fails.
my god.
We're going to try something
Wrong
actual
game.
this time.
Oops.
I think we should stop and maybe run some reconnaissance to see how
Just
many
tell them we're going hiking.
guys are up
In
there.
Germany?
Yeah. She speaks German or something?
9.
Great. Where's our German speaker? Is he dead?
No, she
I
speaks
speak
German.
Oh, then what? Then why are you saying no?
Because I don't think they're going to believe us.
38 auto's not that weird.
Sure, let's go hiking.
Yeah, it takes its weird ammo, but it also takes 38. So.
How fast talking are you?
Not at all.
Great. We're a Cracker Jack team. The best thing is probably just kill him
Hey.
and get out of here. I don't know. I just navigated the way. I don't know what we're doing.
That's not going to help you here. So you
Do they have any cars?
They have motorcycles and cars. Like, this is a sincere border. This is like a closed military border.
Is there a wall?
No.
How rough is the terrain?
Very. You're in the mountains. I can't stress that enough.
Wait, where are we?
So as the GM, would you say we should kill these guys?
I don't know that that's a good idea. I don't know if your super secret mission should start with murder everybody.
I mean, I want to end it in a bang, so why not start off hot? Like,
I just recovered. I mean,
all the better. You're at your peak health now.
I
It's
would like to
perfect
point
time.
out that all of your combats have gone swimmingly bad so far.
Yeah, that means we're due.
How many guards?
Dozen on the German side.
Oh, come on.
I'd say 10 on the Swiss side. But that does include two machine gun teams behind sandbags, 2 men on top of towers with what you would assume are some long-range rifles. Nothing beyond that. It's not like they have tanks or anything.
Is there what's their water source like? They have a well nearby?
Oh my god.
What?
If only you had a doctor who knew all about poison.
Well, we do have a doctor. It's not that kind of doctor.
Maybe we should go back and get fake credentials.
Okay.
That is something you could do.
Sure. Didn't think about that.
I can't think of everything.
So, you go back and you want to talk to Frank? Frank?
Frankenstein.
You want to talk to Frank?
Buongiorno.
Can he build us a robot made out of corpses to smash through these guys if we throw a fire at him or something?
No.
That's a bummer.
Yes, Frank. Do you have access to people who can get us papers?
Take 2 or 3 more days. That's it.
Sure.
So, all right. So you guys get your papers. Go back to the border. The Swiss look over your papers and don't seem to really care. Pass you on to the Germans. The Germans look over your papers for quite a while. Have you each come out of the car. They don't search the car, but they talk to each of you individually, which doesn't really do much good for any of you since only one of you speaks German.
I speak German.
Oh, do you?
I have a 9.
I got a 30.
Oh, jeez. Okay, so everybody speaks German. They want to know where you're going and what you're doing, and you guys have all made up a story. Not a big deal. After probably 3 hours of being questioned and really kind of bullied, oh, yeah, they're serious. Like, you don't come to Germany. This is Nazi Germany.
Yeah, he's right.
This isn't Yes-See Germany. This is Nazi Germany.
That was terrible. So you, after 3 hours of interrogation and some bullying and all that, they let you pass. Carlos,
Can I flip him the bird as I go by?
Yeah, you should totally do that. That sounds like a great idea.
As we leave, I pull the pin on one of the grenades.
Oh, you do all each have a grenade, one singular grenade, except for you, William. So you didn't have a grenade because
No,
Yeah.
that makes me sad. I need
so
it dead.
the 3 of you have grenades: William, Thomas, Doctor, PhD.
Wait, when they were handing out grenades, none of us said, "Oh yeah, we need one for William too."
No.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right.
They said 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and handed out 3 grenades. That's how that works.
Okay.
I went to grenade counting school.
I congratulate the man who runs the grenade store, went to grenade counting school most heartily on his life path. I assume he comes from a long line of grenade counters.
Long line.
Just beautiful family.
Okay,
It's,
so we're through the border?
Yeah, you're through the border. Carlos, can you roll navigate for me? Who's driving?
Carlos.
No, he's navigating.
I can drive.
Let's a woman drive.
Oh.
It is 1939.
And, but you're not being a
Amelia
character.
Earhart had flown across the galaxy at this point, the late
Did you-
Falcon.
Did you notice that she was flying and we're still talking about driving, George?
Have you ever flown an airplane?
No.
Have you ever driven a car?
No.
Have you driven a car today?
No.
Is it because you're a woman?
Yes.
I passed my check.
So you find your way onto kind of the road you're looking for.
I make vroom vroom sounds as they drive.
Of course. You travel for a couple of hours. It does start to get dark. Are you guys driving at night as well?
On the first day, let's try and get as much ground as we can from the border, I think.
You drive for a couple 3 or 4 hours in the dark, which really only means it's like 10 o'clock at night because it's when that time of year. And you do find yourself in coming up on a small town, like what you would have to guess is probably 600 people, but there is an inn there. Looks like a good place to stop. There is one road in and out. It's the road you're on, so it's going to be easy to watch. You don't see any Nazi or any military presence. It might be a good idea.
Sounds like he's setting us up for a trap.
We could just camp on the side of the road, but that might also attract attention if there's patrols.
No. Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
just stay in the inn.
Okay.
You guys stay at the inn. Are you leaving somebody to watch?
Yeah, so we should set
Throughout
a
the
watch.
I'll take the first watch, and then if anyone wants to spell me, then they can.
I'll take last watch because I was driving all day.
I'll take one in the middle then.
Okay. So the night goes by pretty slow. You do see a patrol come by. It's probably Carlos is probably your watch about an hour before sunrise. They slow, get out, come back with, I assume they had thermoses at the time, come back with like 3 or 4 thermoses, get in the truck and keep going. Like, they're not speeding by, and they're kind of going slow and keeping an eye out, but they are clearly just on patrol and stop for coffee. On the way here, you didn't see anything for an hour or more, so, it's a good place to stop for coffee in the middle of the morning.
So it was like a truck full of guys, or was it a smaller, like 3-4 person thing?
It was like a station wagon sized car. Like, it's enough for 6 guys in, but not a full truck. So,
okay.
And there were, from the best you tell, 6 guys in it.
Okay. Regular.
Yeah.
Army.
Regular army.
Okay.
You guys travel again for the next day. Travel into the night again. Find another small town. Pretty much the same setup. That night you see 4 patrols, but you are getting deeper into the country and probably closer to a bigger city. From your plan, Carlos, you're a little less than a day away, so you should be able to get into Innsbrook before nightfall.
Our plan is to go in there directly and do reconnaissance, blending in with the local populace. Correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So you drive that third day, pull up on Innsbrook that early evening, like a little before dinner.
I'm going to play it pretty cool and not make like the vroom vroom sounds when we get into Innsbruck, because I don't want to draw attention to us.
If this is a trap, and all 4 of us walk into it, should somebody hang back while the other 3 go in and behave normally? And then if the coast is clear and no trap is sprung, the 4th can join?
I'm the most noticeable. I could stay back with the vehicle.
Well, I think the vehicle should probably go in, because it might look strange for us to walk in. I don't mind staying back. But
I think if anyone should stay back, it should be me, since I'm the one that can be easily keyed upon. I'd kind of prefer not to, but I will if it's the best option.
We can do pairs.
I'm not of the military mind, so...
Yeah, pairs is certainly an option as well.
if I'm being overly cautious, then we can proceed forward, but...
No. I'm trying to think. If we did go in pairs, we would have need some place where we could meet unobtrusively, or some sort of... I'm trying to remember my spy training now. Drop some way to get messages to each other without making it clear that we're involved.
You can roll espionage if you'd like.
I do not pass.
I've got espionage.
You could get a bicycle and ride around the circle in the middle of town and fire your gun off.
And make vroom vroom sounds.
Yeah, I mean, I've already...
I just put a card in the
I don't want to give away all my cards to these people, because I think they might try and stop that, so I'm just going to let that happen when it happens, you know?
Yeah. Well, go ahead and roll it.
No.
You
I
could
have no idea.
You could set yourselves up so that someone's watching the town, and then just, if 2 of you go in, the one of you could walk past a certain area at a pre-designated time if everything is okay. I mean, it could be just something as simple as that.
Okay.
I'm not saying that whoever, be that a person or multiple people who are outside of town have to stay out there for an extended period of time, but maybe
just for the initial reconnaissance. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah,
if they aren't grabbed.
Yeah, I would prefer to stay with the vehicle. I don't think it would be. A lot of people walk around from town to town. That's not that weird.
Yeah, that is true. This time, at this time of the world, it is more walking than driving.
Okay.
Well, and that is a great place for us to kind of wrap it up for tonight. We will talk to you guys in about a week.
And that will do it for us tonight on the Nerds Domain presents Masks of Nyarlathotep. Remember, you can email us at nerdsdomain@gmail.com or find us on facebook.com/nerdsdomain. on Twitter at NerdsDomain, or over at our site, nerdsdom.com. Be sure to sign up for the newsletter while you're there. You can head over to iTunes and give us a 5-star rating. We want to thank Josh Schott for our music. Don't forget, you can support us at patreon.com/nerdsdomain. And check out our shirts at slashloot.com.